So what does it mean when you're served steak and lobster in the military, and why you never want to see this dish? That's a great question. And in short, it means that you're Alright, so here's the deal. You're in the military, and you're in that galley or in that chow line, and you see that steak and lobster being served up. I want you to know right now that they are not treating you. They're buttering you up for some bad news. It's almost like the calm before the storm, but instead of a warning siren, you get some overcooked steak and some rubbery lobster. So there's a long-standing myth in the military that when that surf and turf is on the menu or being served, it can mean one of two things. One, that your deployment is being extended, which is something that we do not want because we want to go home. Or two, that we're going to war. Again, something we do not want because we want to go home. And let's face it, they're not feeding you like kings because they love you. I mean, maybe they do, but really, they're just trying to soften the blow. So just know, when you see that steak and lobster, that it's not just a meal, but it's a message. And the seasoning, it's just a sprinkle of we're about to ruin your day. Don't grab a fork. Just grab your gear, brace for impact, and know that it's never just dinner. If you're seeing it, it's already too late.
Everyone is talking about the steak and lobster theory in the military, and as someone who has served 13 years in the military, I feel like it is my duty and responsibility to explain to you what this could mean. The first thing, it could mean absolutely nothing. It could mean that the cooking crew was just in a good mood, or the steak and lobster is about to go bad and they have to cook it. Number two, it could be a celebration of sorts. Maybe it is the Navy's birthday, maybe it's the Army's birthday, whatever it is, and steak and lobster is being served as a celebration. And three, shit is about to hit the fan and they're trying to give you a good meal to kind of, break the bad news to you nice and lightly. For example, I was on deployment, I believe, in 2009, and things started to pop off in the Middle East, and we were actually on our way back from deployment, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. As we were getting steak and lobster served on the galley line or on the mess line, we feel the ship starting to turn around, and then we hear the piping of the 1MC that the captain was coming, about to make an announcement saying that we're turning around and going back out there. Do with that information as you wish.
I got for the Army's birthday. Ta-da! Steak, Capri salad.
The Army only gives you steak and lobster when you're about to be deployed. So who are we going to war with?
So they're out here giving the military steak and lobster. I don't know if you guys understand what that means, because they say typically when you're getting steak and lobster, it's because you're about to be deployed. Because ish is about to hit the fan, or even worse, it already has, and they're just like, enjoy this last good meal. And I hate that for them. I hate that for us, because yeah. And I'm talking about buffets. I'm talking about buffets. I'm talking about abundant, big packages. Even the to-go boxes are just huge, filled. They're just like, eat your fill, because the meals may become scarce shortly. Have y'all been seeing all the posts? And I'm not just talking about like, one random person, you have to look it up. No, there's like a whole trending steak and lobster talk happening right now. And we see what else is going on. The sky is lit up like it's Christmas, and we're in June. Mind you, people are like, get ready with me for number 3. We don't take anything serious, but really and truly, I think we're living, in historic times. I feel like everybody has always been living in historic times, but this feels a little different. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, save this video. Go look into the whole steak and lobster talk for the military. They really gave them, they might as well have just thrown some melted butter and some gold shavings on there, because baby.
Does the U.S. military know what it means when they get served steak and lobster? Or is that just, something for us older folks? Hope you're learning Farsi.
If I was a male between the ages of 18 and 25, I would go and get a medical diagnosis from a doctor or physical disability diagnosis from a doctor, and I would do it as soon as possible. Being that Israel is doing what they're doing at this point, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to try and drag the United States into this war with them. I remember last year they were trying to pass Bill HR 8070. It had a lot of information in it about service members and some things about the military and medical military and all that stuff. But one of the main things that I noticed that it had in it was the fact that it would automatically register males between the ages of 18 to 25 for selective service. They didn't have to notify anybody. It would automatically do it at the age of 18. Now, the House of Representatives did pass this bill, but ultimately it did not go through Senate, so it's still pending, which means it could still be passed. But the only thing that could keep you from being drafted if you're 18 to 25 years of age is if you have a disability, a medical disability from a doctor, or a physical disability that you have been diagnosed by a doctor. Even going to college cannot exempt you from being drafted. If they need enough people and you are able-bodied, you can be drafted between the ages of 18 and 25. And the way this administration's going, I have no doubt in my mind that it could get to this point. We have 3.5 years left. So there's no telling. Things are popping off, and it's bound to happen at this point.
All right, so it kind of looks like the United States is going to war with Iran. And it's not just words, but actions too. We're moving military assets into the Middle East. And yesterday, President Trump left the G7 and put out a bunch of statements that were, kind of suggesting that now is the time. First off, he said Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, the capital of Iran. Read into that what you will. He then went on, in my reading of this, to kind of make the case, lay the groundwork for why the U.S. military is going to get involved in Iran. He said, America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Make America great again. And then there was a long thread put out on the White House X account saying President Trump has never wavered in his stance that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, a pledge he has made repeatedly, both in office and on the campaign trail. And they played dozens of clips of Trump saying just that. No nuclear weapon for Iran. That's a hard stop. We can't allow that to happen. Again, personal assessment, reading between the lines, it looks like they're laying the groundwork for that argument that, well, we have to carry out military strikes. Now, it's not just words. We're seeing actions as well. Yesterday, we got confirmation that the second U.S. carrier strike group has moved into the Middle East. The USS Nimitz is joining the USS Carl Vinson. That's a lot of American firepower there. And then overnight, additional refueling aircraft were relocated to Europe, where they're within range of being able to assist either Israeli aircraft carrying out strikes on Iran, or, if needed, American aircraft able to carry out longer range strikes against some of these Iranian nuclear facilities. On top of that, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth put out a statement saying that he is reallocating force posture and troops and equipment in a way to make sure that our forces in the Middle East are adequately protected. And I should stress at this point that all the official statements coming from DOD, Secretary of State, things like that, are that we are not engaged in an offensive war, that we are exclusively making moves to protect our forces and our personnel in the Middle East.
This is also a good reminder that in 2018, Donald Trump himself pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal that prevented Iran from gaining nuclear capabilities. And this is from March's opening statement from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who said they are not close to having a nuclear weapon and said at most it would be 3 years before they were even capable. Let's see what Donald Trump himself had to say last night about Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having.
So to recap, Donald Trump torched the nuclear deal with Iran in 2018. We have Benjamin Netanyahu having a G word in Gaza. Then a preemptive strike, aka an attack on Iran to pull us into that war. All the while, we are being led by the most incompetent administration of all time. The head of the military is a Fox News host. I mean, we are in danger, America.
So Donald Trump just announced that, quote, we now have control over the skies of Iran or something like that. As this buildup between Iran and Israel has been happening, a lot of very concerned followers of the president have urged him to pull back from doing stuff like this. People in Congress were drafting a bill to make sure that the president understands that declaring war or getting ourselves entangled in a foreign conflict, that authority comes from Congress. Tulsi Gabbard, not criticizing the president right now, but said a number of months ago that Iran was nowhere near a nuclear weapon yet. Last night, Donald Trump came out and said, I don't care what Tulsi Gabbard says. He knew that they were close to a weapon. He knew. This is from a man who refuses to read his daily public briefing. He's read about 14 or 15 of them since the beginning of his new administration. So this is a man who thinks he knows everything. Even Tucker Carlson coming out and saying, being critical of the situation and saying, we shouldn't get involved with this stuff. like many MAGA supporters are like. They signed up for no forever wars. Remember that? Well, now he attacked Tucker Carlson, saying, yeah, maybe he should worry about getting on TV, just dismissing it. So you have a man who will not take the advice of, even from my perspective, a very flawed group of advisors. He knows better than everybody. And he is putting us into a conflict all on his own. We don't really know what "we have control over the skies" means, but it's not good. And so, MAGA supporters, I want you to chime in. How do you feel about Trump possibly getting ourselves into another forever war? Ignoring his own advisors, refusing to read daily public briefings, like almost like refusing to hear information, refusing to hear data that can help him make a good decision. He just knows. This is very dangerous, regardless if you're a supporter of the president or not. This guy is just doing whatever he wants, and he really truly thinks he knows everything. And we've clearly seen that he does not. So, especially you guys who are supporters of the president, what do you think of this move? We're getting into some really, I keep saying it over and over again, we're getting some really dangerous waters here.